very pleasant day to you and welcome to this video. First of all, thank you for the support on my latest video. It went absolutely ham and I've never had a video which exploded in this short of a time, so thank you. In this video I wanted to talk about 3 types of dips. The dips is also known as the squat for the upper body, and it is amazingly beneficial for our upper body growth. It is a pushing movement and it is a absolute phenomenal exercise to increase our chest, shoulder and tricep strength. Now the dip holds a very special place to my heart as I used to spam these in the beginning of my journey. I absolutely love doing these exercises, and especially when I started to get good at them, I got a lot of dopamine from it. Now let's start with the absolute basic, which is the regular parallel bar dip. This is absolutely calisthenics fundamentals 101. If you are doing push-ups at the moment and you're getting quite good at them, you're looking for a better challenge, then the regular dip is absolutely the place to look at. Like I said before, the regular dip is known as the upper body squat, and this is because it's such a fundamental exercise like the barbell back squat. And why would I recommend doing this exercise? Well, first of all, it's absolutely a good challenge, and it gets you more familiar with just supporting on your hands and doing an exercise. With the dip, your feet are not connected to the floor at all, and it's basically just you holding on, supporting yourself. Now, what's important to note during the dip is your shoulder position. Your shoulder position should be down and forward. We call this protraction. Protraction is very important during the dip, and we want to hold this during the entire range of motion. When we do the dip, we start to lower down, but we also start moving forward. Now during the dip, it is important to keep our elbow slightly above our wrist, not too much backwards. If you're able to, a lot of forward movement, but if you are very able to lean forward during the dip, this means just that you are strong. But since this is a beginner exercise, just try to keep it a bit above your wrist. Now during the regular dip, we also want to keep our elbows tucked in, and we don't want to flare them out that much. If we flare out our elbows, the risk of injury does get significantly higher, so it is a more safer way to perform it with elbows in. Last but not least, we want to have our hips in a posterior pelvic tilt, which means we do not have a giant booty at the back. The giant booty will help us with creating a more of a momentum wave, and this is not what we want. We want a hollow body, and this creates a better room to push from, which will help us with development. It also looks a lot cooler if you have your hips in a posterior pelvic tilt. It just looks a bit, what can we say, not very powerful if our butt is all the way up into the air. So please have a posterior pelvic tilt. If we are not able to do dips yet, which is quite normal for beginners, we can do dip negatives. That means we slightly lower ourselves, and we do this in a slow and controlled way. We don't just rush down. No, we go slowly. We go slowly into the range of motion, and if we are at the bottom, we can just stand on our feet, reset to position, and do another dip negative. Once we get quite good at negative dips, let's say around 5 to 8 reps, then we can start implementing mini range of motion. And what I would recommend you to do is slightly increase the range of motion every week until you are able to go below parallel. Just stay persistent while practicing dips and you will get them eventually. And if you get cool enough, you will be able to do them with extra weight. But that is not the point of this video, because the next variation is called a straight bar dip. The straight bar dip I can recommend after being able to do 8 regular dips. And please just stick to this rep scheme, because the straight bar dip is quite more difficult, and it also comes a bit more of a balancing aspect. Now, like the name itself reveals, the straight bar dip is performed on a straight bar, and I must say that it is quite more easy if the bar is a bit higher. What I'm doing right now in the video is a quite low straight bar, which still works, but it's, like I said, it's a bit more difficult because you don't have room. Now, what's important to note if you do perform these on a low straight bar is that you don't use your hip extension in order to get a sort of momentum. So please do it slowly and controlled, and don't just open up your hips like a madman so you fly up into the air. Straight bar dips have a great carryover to muscle ups, and especially if you go deep into the range of motion, this will significantly help you with your muscle ups. Next on the list are ring dips. If you're starting your ring journey, you might notice that the rings are not very stable. Rings are known to cause a spastic attack inside of your muscles, so please keep noted that you will definitely not have the most stable base, especially if you're doing it for the first time. Now believe me when I say ring dips are absolutely difficult, and these are not really a beginner type of movement. With rings, a lot of stabilization muscles get activated for the first time, and if these are not trained, like I said before, you might shake a bit. What we want to do is we want to learn the support hold, where we move our biceps towards the front. This is called the support hold, and this is the starting position for the regular dip. If we get around 20 seconds of support hold, then we have a quite decent base to actually start doing ring dips, which we do by slowly lowering ourselves and caving our elbows more towards the inside, creating a more natural position to push from. It's kind of like with a dumbbell bench press, where we rotate our arms more inside, but when we push back towards the top position, if we push back towards the top position, we want to again rotate our biceps towards the front. Why do we do this? Because it's more difficult. It will bring better gains, and it absolutely looks cool, which is of course a very important factor when training. You want to look cool, because people who look cool are automatically stronger. That was a joke. But rotate your arms to the outside, point biceps forward, really lock your elbows, because with ring dips, especially for beginners, people don't really lock out and they have like half of these bent arms, but we want to really lock out. Lock your elbows. Get massive biceps. Lock your elbows. Get massive biceps from this. Ring dips activate biceps a lot, and it also activates your shoulders, your chest, your traps, and you will get huge from this exercise, and you will also get very strong from this exercise. Please do not rush these progressions. These are quite difficult. Starting from the straight bar dip up until the ring dip, this is where exercises get a little bit more serious. Don't mess around with your ego. Slowly build up. And especially with rings, they will humble you if you mess around with them. So please watch out for injuries. Just follow the rep scheme like I told you, 5 to 8 reps, and then on to the next progression. Once you get to rings, try to get a support position for around 20 seconds and then start with slowly doing the negatives again. I want to wish you good luck with these exercises, and please let me know in the in the comments, if you are stuck with anything. So, goodbye, good luck, ciao.